What's up, Desktoppers? Xavier Wills here for Desktop Bodybuilding, and we are back with another weekly bodybuilding breakdown. I'm Xavier Wills, and I'm joined, as always, by Michael Galley. And today we're going to be previewing and giving our top 5 predictions for the 2020 Classic Physique Olympia. But before we get into it, Mick, how are you doing this week?
I'm good, thanks, Dave. It's good to see you.
Yeah,
Olympia
likewise,
ticket
man.
was Monday, so I'm excited.
Yeah, man, it's 3 weeks. I can't believe it's 3 weeks out of the Olympia. So exciting times, man. And this Classic Physique Olympia, I wanted to touch on it with you because I've seen you share a few pictures from some of these guys, and man, it is a crazy deep lineup. So I'm super excited to preview it with you. And I suppose let's start going through the names and get straight into it. So I'll highlight some of the big top names that I've sort of got listed down as being, I suppose, like top 10, top 5 contenders. So you got Jose Marie, Matt Bibbery, Chris Bumstead, Alex Cambronero, DeAndre Campbell, Artie Caldwell, Logan Franklin. Who else is on here? You got former Mr Olympia, Danny Heston, David Hoffman. He's a great competitor. Rush Rabar, he's actually out of it this year. He's missing his first Classic Physique Olympia. Terrence Ruffin, Mike Summerfield, who we're a big fan of, Wesley Vissers, Divine Wilson, Danny Unan. Pretty much the names go on, man. There's a lot of good guys that I'm actually missing out when I read that out. So who's some guys, I suppose, that stick out to you? I mean, apart from the obvious guys like Chris Bumstead and Breon Ansley.
And that's a stack lineup. This lineup is harder to pick than the open lineup by far, if you're picking a top 10. But you got some good new names in there, like Divine Wilson. Brian Jones, he's a real standout, mate. I think he's going to do some serious damage at his first Olympia. DeAndre, who you said before, an amazing physique. There are a couple of the guys actually placed in my top 10, but apart from that, you've got Chris Hunte, who's a Texas boy as well. He looks amazing. Logan Franklin, this is his first Olympia. Mate, the list just goes on. Jason Brown, the list goes on and on.
Yeah, I just skipped over Chris's name as well. He actually follows the channel and watches, I think, pretty religiously. So got to give a shout out to him as well. So I'm going to get into it with a few competitors. So Wesley Vissers actually just put up a video the other day, on certain video after we record, Mick, and he's looking insane, like the biggest he's ever looked by far. And he looks like he wouldn't even make the weight category. He looks more like a really old school, big time bodybuilder at this stage. And he's looking in great condition, better than he's ever been before. Do you think, obviously, with the influx of new talent into the Classic Physique, that Wesley Vissers can place a top 5 or a top 10 in this Classic Physique Olympia?
Yeah, I've got him in my top 10, down towards 10th place, but I just think he's taken notice this year. The judges seem to like the package he brought, so I don't think he'll be denied a top 10 placing this year. That's for sure.
Yeah, I agree. I have Wesley Vissers in there as well. Now, Logan Franklin's another guy that he's a tough one to place because we've seen him, he competed last year and he wasn't quite at the standard he needs to be like a top 5 Classic Physique Olympian or anything. And then, obviously this year he wins a pro show, gets his qualification for the 2020 Classic Physique Olympia. How do you think he can do? Because a lot of people compare him to Chris Bumstead. Personally, I don't think he's at that level, but how do you compare him, I suppose, to these top guys?
Yeah, I don't have him at that level yet either. I've got him in my top 10. I thought he looked great when he won his pro show, which was the New York Pro in Tampa. Just needs to be a little bit bigger all over. Like, his condition was quite good. The photos didn't show it, but his condition was really, really good. He just needs to fill out just that little bit more, and I think he'll be pushing that top 5 in the next year or two.
Do you know how much weight he has to add in this division, or is he sort of capping it out already?
I'm not sure, mate. I think he's still got a couple of pounds to play with.
Beautiful. Yeah, because he looks like he maybe needs a little bit more in the legs or something like that. And when you actually look at him, you look at the individual muscle groups and you go, oh yeah, good biceps, good this, good that. But I think just overall just needs a tiny bit more thickness to match up with like a Bumstead type. You know what I mean?
Yeah, agree.
But let's discuss Alex Cambronero, the winner of the 2020 Arnold Classic in the Classic Physique. Now, he's got a great physique. You really can't pick him apart too much. He's, just very balanced, great conditioning, works with Neil Hill over there in Florida as well. How do you see Alex Cambronero coming into this contest? Because really he's, I suppose, the top ranking guy outside of Chris Bumstead and Breon Ansley at this point.
He is, mate. Well, he got 6th last year and looked amazing. I thought he looked fantastic when he won the Arnolds. So he's only improving from show to show. So I've got Alex right. We'll call our top 5 at the end, but I've got Alex right up there. And you've got to remember there's a few guys out last year. Like, we've got George Peterson and Keone out. So I see Alex definitely moving up.
Yeah, for sure. Now, Terrence Ruffin, he's the guy that he's known for his posing. He's been continuing to add size, and he's been getting like consistently better every contest that he does. Do you think Terence Ruffin can jump in Alex Cambronero here and get like a third place or not?
I think they're going to be battling against each other again. It was pretty close apparently the last comp. You're right, Terence. His posing is just fantastic. Alex is a great poser too, though. So you've got those two guys going back and forth. But Terence is another one. He's up there. He's definitely in that top 5.
Yeah, for sure. Now, a guy I think is almost a little bit underrated coming into this Classic Physique Olympia is Danny Yunin, who competed last year and competed against Arash Rabar. And I think Arash beat him, or they did like one of them won one comp and won the other, or something like that. So it was incredibly close. How do you think Danny Yunin matches up in this lineup?
He actually beat Arash last year. So
did he? I think like maybe Arash won one and then Danny won one or something.
Possibly. I think. Well, Danny got 7th last year, and Arash got 8th. He's going to move up. I've got him moving up another position as well. He's looking fantastic coming into this show, and he's improved. He's improved from last year as well. So you've got those guys that are repeating from last year. They're all improved.
Yep. How does Brian Jones do in a lineup like this, in your opinion?
Well, I've got him in my top 5, believe it or not.
Wow.
I really do think Brian's going to stand out. He brings the condition. He's got that tiny waist, wide delts. His quad sweep is something that I haven't seen on too many guys before, and he's got that paper thin skin around his legs. He was actually he's like my wild card. He's like the guy I think could actually stand up there and really the judges will take notice of him.
Yeah. Now, Fabian Larabia, I don't know if he's not even on the qualified list that I can see, but I believe he was doing the actual Classic Physique Olympia, and he has a fantastic physique. We were just talking about him before the show. How do you think he almost looks like a classic physique guy that's been, not a classic physique, a men's physique guy that's just added a ton of muscle. How do you think he'll do when he's able to compete in that Classic Physique Olympia, maybe in 2021?
Hard to say, mate. Look, he doesn't seem to lack anything either. He's got real like big pecs, cap delts, massive legs, huge back. It'd just be interesting to see. I mean, photos are totally different to see him on stage with that Olympia caliber lineup. Like the guys in this show are next level. So I'd like to see just how he'd fare when he was up against some of these top guys. But I can't see any reason why he couldn't be a top 10 contender in the next year or two.
For sure. Another guy, Divine Wilson. Now, he was coming second in a lot of comps. I mean, he came second to, I'm trying to think of his name, Steve Laureus, I think once or twice. And he was sort of like always like the bridesmaid, but now he's qualified for that 2020 Classic Physique Olympia. How do you think he does? Do you think he's just sort of pulled tougher lineups in the past and this is going to be sort of his chance to get a top 10 finish, or do you think he'll be somewhere outside the top 10?
I saw him in Tampa actually when he got second there as well, and that honestly that could have actually went either way. So he's come up against some top tough guys that have always placed first, which it could have went either way. And then I got to see him. He was the same hotel I was, and when you're next to him, like he's huge when you stand next to him. He's a big guy. I think he'll place this top 10 as well. He's got a different looking, freaky sort of physique that I think will stand out as well. And he's one of those guys that sort of he's maybe half-assed a lot of preps, and now I think he's going all out for the Olympia, which it'll be good to see him at 100%.
Yeah, for sure. Now, do you want to highlight anyone else in that lineup and particularly talk about them?
We've pretty much covered everyone we've spoken about. I've got my top 10, which just leaves us the top 2, which we know we pretty much know who that's going to be between.
Yeah, and it's Chris Bumstead and Breon Ansley. I think we'll discuss that once we give out. I can do my top 10. I've got a top 10 pretty much here. So I'll go through mine. So in 10th, I have Divine Wilson. 9th, I have Wesley Vissers. 8th, I have Jose Marie Met Biberi. 7th, I have Logan Franklin. 6th, I have DeAndre Campbell. 5th, I have Danny Yunin. 4th, I have Terence Ruffin. 3rd, Alex Cambronero. 2nd, Chris.
Are we gonna keep?
And first, Breon Ansley.
Oh, you know, it's funny. We've got a similar top 10 then. So my top 10 is Divine Wilson.
Yeah.
9th is Logan Franklin. 8th is Wesley Vissers. 7th is DeAndre Campbell. 6th is Danny Yunin. 5th is Brian Jones. I've popped you up. He's my wild card. Come on, Brian, you come through for me.
He's 11th for me. 11th.
Bet on a horse. Come on, Brian. 4th, same as you, Terence Ruffin. And 3rd, Alex Cambronero. Now, I'm a huge Breon fan. There's no doubt about it. And I want to see Breon win, but I think they're going to go with Chris. I think they're going to stick with that standard. And it's a tough one to call, Zays, because those two, they've improved night and day from last year on every aspect. Their posing, the way they look. That's going to be one of the, that's going to be a tight battle. Like I said, I'd love to see Breon win. I've just got this feeling they're going to stick with Bumstead's look.
Yeah, very possible, man, because I think that they're both going to be improved. I think that Breon might be slightly more improved, maybe just slightly. I mean, he was 10 pounds over and he looked almost like, mate, he looked 2 pounds off, you know what I mean? So he's going to be suffering to get down to that weight. He's working Chris Cormier again, which worked fantastic last year where he brought his best. I think he's bringing a better package. And I think it's going to be incredibly close again. Don't get me wrong. I think if they want to give it to Chris Bumstead, if those same judges are judging, all the ones that gave Chris Bumstead the win last year could be justified in doing it again. But it was a 1-point decision last year, which I think people sometimes forget. They go, oh, well, Bumstead's the new standard. Every judge, you know, or half the judges basically had Breon winning apart from one. So I think that Breon can come back and win this. I think he's going to be shredded to the absolute bone with more size, and hopefully the weigh-ins a little bit earlier so he can fill out a bit more, and that gives advantage to Breon. But we'll see. I mean, if the weigh-ins the day of the show, I'd say Bumstead, but if it's at least the morning before or 2 days before, then I'd probably say Breon. So
yeah, that's quite a good breakdown. Did you see the video Breon put up the other day where he did his back to a bicep in the gym?
I've seen a lot of things from Breon lately. I can't remember the specific one.
That was ridiculous. He was looking really, really good. So
I can't wait to see, man. This is going to be a great Classic Physique Olympia. So I was actually surprised our top 10s were so close, considering it was actually really hard for me to do a top 10. So
you got some of the names we've left out. There's some freaking awesome guys in there. And you look at it this year compared to last year, it's growing not only in the quality of competitors, but then obviously the number of the competitors too. So I think maybe, and Breon made this good point the other day on a podcast I watched, they're going to have to look at increasing the prize money soon for these guys as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree. Totally.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, anyway, that's our early predictions for the 2020 Classic Physique Olympia from myself, Xavier Wills, and Michael Galley. If you guys like and appreciate this content, please give this video a thumbs up and smash that like button. Also subscribe and hit the notification bell button, and let us know below your top 5s, your top 10s, who you think is going to win out of Chris Bumstead and Breon Ansley, or do you think someone else can come in and win it, which seems pretty damn unlikely. But that's it from myself, Xavier Wills, and Michael Galley. We are out.